Hello and welcome to Dusklight Radio. My name is TJ Lee. I am the janitor of Dusklight Radio. I am also the founder of the Sturgeon Universe, the most of the stories you've heard, as well as doing most of the voice acting and sound design of the channel. And I'm jumping in here to basically give you a little update on where we're at in the middle of 30 in 30. Right now, we're about to cross over the halfway point, and it has been an incredible experiment. Do let me know in the comments what your favorite daily video has been so far. We've still got another couple weeks to go. The schedule for week 3 is going up on the community tab tomorrow, so please check that out. I really hope you like what we've got planned for you. I am going to be taking a little bit more of a break and doing some compilations, but still, got some good stuff going. If you're seeing this, that means the algorithm is favoring me, the experiment is working, or you've perhaps come over from one of the channels like Vidith or Dark Somnium, somewhere that we have done some work with, which is a big focus of what Dusklight Radio is all about. We believe in dynamic storytelling, good voice acting, great sound design where possible, engaging music, and above all else, good quality stories. We also have radio skits at the beginning and end for special Sturgeon stories. You can get your name mentioned through the Patreon. There's a Discord community. And there's a podcast called Nightmare Detectives, which is a bunch of my friends with me DMing, playing Monster of the Week set in Sturgeon with characters that many of you will have come to know if you enjoyed the Bar series, The Last Sin Eater, Hotel Inertia, or of course the Nightmare Fighting Championship. It's really fun. It's on all forms of podcasting. There's lots to check out. Thank you for giving up some of your time to check out the stuff I'm doing over here and check out this experiment. I hope it was worth the trip over, and I hope we can keep you staying. I don't know how to end things, so I'm going to stop here, but thank you so much. Have a wonderful holiday season and a happy new year. To whoever is reading this, you probably don't know who I am, but I'm sorry for what I've done to you. This will probably never make it to the public, but my guilt is eating away at me, and I feel like I'm out of options. The least I could do is get this out there so that maybe, hopefully, someone reads this and, more unlikely, takes this seriously. That way, I'm not one of the few who know just how bad we've messed up and what we've done to our world. I'm sure this will read like some nutjob's manifesto, but please, hear me out. I think I've helped link our world to something else out there, and if humanity isn't careful, we're going to open a door and invite something to Earth that I'm pretty sure will end us in the blink of an eye. I know that's a lot, so let me backtrack. I was an archaeologist, and a damn fine one if I do say so myself. I specialized in decoding ancient writing. I've probably helped with translating most of the more popular ancient texts out there, from Sumerian to Greek to Egyptian. So when I get a call from a small specialized team off in Egypt about wanting some text translated on a door to a recently uncovered tomb, I don't bat an eye and book the next flight. I kept a diary of my findings. I kept it hidden on me too, so the guys that got me quarantined haven't taken it. It's funny. I can read the words, I understand what they mean individually, but I can't piece together my own writing. It's like my mind immediately forgets whatever it is that I read. It's got to be an effect of the tomb. In any case, I've decided to painstakingly, word by word, transcribe my diary here. Hopefully, you can make sense of it. Day 1. You'd think that after spending days in sand-swept dunes or remote ancient locations, you'd get tired of it. But here I am, writing from a tent just outside of a recently excavated tomb that they found here in Gilf Kebir. I admit I'm a little apprehensive. While the door to the tomb is fascinating, and I'll get to that in a minute, I don't know how anyone would have found this thing in the first place. There was no tomb marker, No statues, absolutely nothing built into or around this plateau that would indicate a tomb was hidden here. If these guys weren't using some of the latest seismic tools to map out the land, there's no telling how much longer this thing would have stayed buried. I can understand, too, their eagerness to excavate and unearth this find. It's rare to get to see an untouched tomb nowadays, especially one so isolated from any others on the map. It makes me wonder if there's a whole cache of hidden tombs just waiting to be uncovered and share their history. Exciting. So, back to the door. It's massive. 2 20-foot or so slabs of deep black granite is my guess, from what they've uncovered so far. They're still whittling away at the rock surrounding it, but the glimpses I see are still incredible nonetheless. It goes without saying, but I'm most fascinated by the writing on the doors. Every single inch of the stone uncovered so far has dense lines of script, like the Rosetta Stone. It's weathered to all hell, but I can identify some hieroglyphs, as well as ancient Greek. I can't make out full sentences yet, but from what I got so far, I could see something about a key or an origin of some sort, and something about riches. The guys seemed to work a little faster after I plucked out that word. In any case, we've got a lot of work ahead of us, but this seems promising. Day 5. It's been steady going, but we've been making progress on getting this door uncovered. Rick, the man leading this whole expedition, is a fair enough guy, making sure no one overworks themselves in this heat. Rick's picked a great little team here. Between Jimmy, Susan, Frank, Jade, and myself, I can't think of a better team for cracking the secret of this tomb. I think we're all just excited to see what's on the other side. The only bad news so far is that years and years under soil have not treated these slabs well. I'm having difficulty translating the full message transcribed. My best guess on what the writing on the door says is, "The key to nothing is resting here. Wealth there is none. Forgetting is a gift." Warnings are written all the time on tombs, often warning about curses or traps, but I haven't read one like this before. At our continued rate, we should have this door ready to go in a few days or so, weather permitting. Day 8. Today's the day. We've got enough of the door uncovered to be able to open it. Seeing this jet black set of doors nestled into the rock really is quite imposing. The warning over and over inlaid in the door doesn't help either. Still, this isn't my first rodeo, so once we find a way to get these doors open, I'll report back later on what we uncover. Rick wants these doors open by midday at the latest, so we can get plenty of light in there to see what's going on. Day 8. Today's the day. We've got enough of the door uncovered to be able to open it. Seeing this jet black set of doors nestled into the rock really is quite imposing. Still, this isn't my first rodeo, so once we find a way to get these doors open, I'll report back later on what we uncover. Rick... wait. I already wrote this. I never updated on what we found. Come to think of it, I'm drawing a blank on yesterday. I remember writing in my journal. We set up the equipment to force the doors open and... nothing. Looking out of my tent right now, the doors remain closed. I need to investigate. So I just spoke to Rick and he's also confused. When I asked him how long we've been out here, he also thought it was still day 8. I showed him my phone's date and he seemed as puzzled as I was. We gathered everyone up and, sure enough, it's like an entire day was taken away from all of us. No one remembers what happened when we forced the door open or why it's back to being closed. I'd like to attribute it to the sweltering heat, but I know that's not true. Something's wrong. Rick paused all further attempts until we can figure out what's going on. I'm going to go back through my notes to see if I missed anything on the translation. Between the 5 of us, someone's got to remember something. Day 10. I don't know who Frank is. I wrote about him on day 5, but I have no idea why I wrote that. I've asked the whole camp, and they assure me that it's always been us 5, not 6. Everyone's drawing a collective blank on what happened the day we tried to open the tomb. Everything in our brains tells us it's stupid to try again. But at the same time, when we sit in silence checking our gear, the collective desire to try again is palpable. This isn't a group so easily willing to give up. Rick seems to be in the same boat, saying that we'll try again tomorrow. Something keeps bothering me. Everyone assures me that it's always been us 5. Why, then, did we set up an extra empty cot? Why do we have a bunch of extra supplies? In those supplies, why is there a photograph of a woman and her child that no one else recognizes? I don't think anyone wants to actually sit down and think about this. Day 11. Well, take 2 for the tomb today. I didn't want to wait until the day was over to begin writing. I'll chronicle as we go today. It's a little before dawn and we've set up our supplies, ready to get into the tomb. Rick had brought in a very interesting new piece of technology I hadn't seen before. A crate of self-navigational micro-drones. According to Rick, these things can safely fly into an unknown space, and through a bit of 3D mapping capabilities, fully map the inside of a tomb in a matter of minutes. A part of me feels like it takes a little bit of the fun out of exploring a place that man hasn't set foot in for years, but I also recognize just how dangerous these places are. It looks like the team is getting ready to crack the door open and send the drones in. Once we have a good idea of what's in there, we'll head in. The drones took an hour to map the area. Rick seemed slightly concerned, explaining to me that he's never seen them take this long. When we opened up the laptop to look at the scanned area, to say we were stunned is an understatement. This place is huge. If we were on an island off of Greece, I would have sworn this was the very maze that housed the Minotaur and the myths. The sheer time it would have taken to carve out these winding tunnels with multiple dead ends back hundreds of years ago is comparable to the pyramids hundreds of miles away. We're expecting a long trek in there, but at least we have a clear path to the central chamber. With luck, I'll update later tonight on our findings. The energy of the group is a little strange. There's excitement, sure, but I can't get my translation out of my head. Forgetting is a gift. It doesn't make sense. None of it does. The tomb, it was empty. Well, kind of empty. So right after my last update, we went inside the tomb. Immediately entering, the solid black granite was much cooler than the outside Egyptian heat. We used the map that the drones created and followed the winding path deeper inside. The only noise audible was the sound of our own footsteps against the solid stone. It really did feel like we were the first ones in there. The main room also showed no signs of anyone else before us, or maybe they just didn't leave a trace. It was a large room that seemed like it should be filled with priceless artifacts, but there was nothing except for the coffin. This goes against most Egyptian burials. They believed that you brought your possessions with you to the afterlife. Why were there none in the room? At first, we thought we had found the tomb of someone infamous, someone who perhaps did something so horrible the Egyptians wanted to forget about them. But opening the sarcophagus led to only more questions. It was empty. I still don't think anyone got to it before us, as it took us a lot of effort to pry open the lid to the strange sarcophagus seated in the dead center of the room. It too was made of a similar material to the doors, and the walls, solid black granite. It wasn't carved into a person's visage, like most sarcophagi, but instead covered in writing. I took plenty of photos which I plan to review for translation soon. Once we got the lid open and peered inside, however, we were greeted with nothing. An empty black coffin. We searched the inside, looking for a lever, a switch, writing, something, but it was empty. The smooth, solid black of the granite almost made it look like we were peering into an empty void. My conclusion? I think this was a tomb that never got filled. Something went wrong, and whoever was supposed to be buried here wasn't. Clearly, it was someone who was not liked, so they went ahead and probably dropped him in some ditch and called it a day. While a part of me is a little disappointed, this was still an interesting find. even if it's due to the irregularity of the tomb. Some of the others want to scope out some of the other dead ends to see if anything was missed, before we wrap it up here and report our findings. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't curious to take another peek in there myself. Day 12. I couldn't sleep last night. Just as I felt like I was finally dozing off, it sounded like someone was mumbling or whispering in their sleep. I didn't recognize whose voice it was, and even when my eyes adjusted to the darkness of the tent, I couldn't see anyone's lips moving. Despite this, I have been making solid progress on my translations. A lot of it seemed to repeat the warning on the door. Some of the new stuff talks about a voice, translated to your voice. It could also be my voice. It's tough to discern the context. I'll keep working on it. I think it may not have just been me who didn't get much sleep last night. Everyone's acting a little weird. This morning I saw Jade push Jimmy as he was bent over looking at our supplies. Naturally, Jimmy was pissed. What's weird, though, is that Jade was immediately apologetic, claiming she just had the urge to do it. It wasn't just her, though. I watched Rick purposely bend the antennae to one of the handheld radios we have, only to then try to fix it, cursing under his breath. I'm not sure what's going on. It happened to me too. I was eating lunch and I just poured out my water. I don't know why. It was like I had the thought to do it and I really wanted to. So I did. I didn't do it involuntarily. At least I don't think so. I just chose to act on that thought. With how fast it came and went, though, it honestly felt like it wasn't even my own thought. I'm not sure what's gotten into me. Something's wrong with us. Susan came out of the tomb frantic. Her and Jimmy just went into the cave a half hour ago. Jimmy wasn't with her when she came out. Susan told us that Jimmy jumped. They were checking out some of the other branching paths and they came across a pit. She said they both stared at it for some time before he just leaped, like he was diving into a swimming pool, she said. We were ready to head in to see what we could do to get him out, but she made it clear that after a few moments of silence, she heard him land. Then the silence returned. Rick's made it clear that no one goes back into the tomb, and he's called the institution funding our dig to get us a ride out of the desert. While we wait for a ride to show up in the next few days, I'm going to try to translate more of the sarcophagus, mostly to keep my mind off what's happening, but a piece of me also feels like this is important. There's something we missed. Day 13. What did we let out? I couldn't sleep last night, so at some point I must have scribbled what I wrote earlier. I'd be lying if I said I remembered writing that, though. I think it's what I'm secretly afraid of. That was a sealed coffin. I'm not really superstitious, but what if we're cursed? I feel ridiculous writing that, but things have been only getting worse and quicker. I keep getting strange little urges. Light all of our matches, rip a hole in our tent, draw a deep line in the sand with my foot. As fast as they arrive, they leave. But it's tough to act against them. I could see everyone on edge. They must be dealing with the same thing. I need to focus on my translations today. This might prove to be the distraction I need. He will be your voice, but your actions will be his. Everyone will be the key to the coming nothing. Who is he? What did we let out? Nothing? Nothing is coming? Is nothing a thing or a state that we'll reach? I'm going to keep this to myself. I don't want the rest of the crew freaking out. This doesn't sit right, though. He will have my voice, but my actions will be his? Is this what we're all experiencing? What is going on? Who is in my head? There. Whatever I wrote ends there. I can't remember much from our time by that tomb. Only bits and pieces. I can remember the tomb itself. I remember we opened it. My solid memories kick up right when we were being driven back. The driver kept asking us if there were more people, but we were sure that there were only the 4 of us. He seemed to hesitate on that information, but if I'm being honest, the guy was a little weird anyway. Driving us back to the base of operations, he kept swerving the car back and forth, just for the fun of it, it seemed. Everyone's been acting weird around us. It's subtle, but I've seen a guy impulsively kick over a waste bin. Another guy bit his cheek hard enough to bleed a little. It didn't take long for a few guys in suits to step in and ask us about what we remember down by the tomb. They've had us in quarantine for some time now, but I think whatever they're trying to quarantine, it's too late. I've heard them use the term intrusive thoughts in passing, and I think that's the best way to describe what I've been feeling. These thoughts that I have. I wish I knew what to say. If this ever gets out there, to whoever is reading this, please, you can't listen to that voice when it calls. I don't know what that voice is inching us towards with these small actions, but if a butterfly flapping its wings can cause a typhoon on the other side of the globe, I shudder to think what the small actions of the entire world might be leading to. I don't know where I heard this advice from, but I feel like it fits this situation. Just forget about these thoughts. Don't let your mind dwell on them. Sometimes, forgetting is a gift. Most heartfelt greetings and salutations, ladies and gentlemen. I eagerly welcome you to Sturgeon's most premier station, Dusklight Radio, hosted by yours truly, the effervescent, ethereal, and immersive Everett J. Blackwell. This impossible-to-forget tale was crafted by Lime Time Live. You can find more of Lime Time Live's work in the description below, and they have worked extensively with Vidith, so maybe go check out Vidith's channel if you like how Lime Time Live weaves a terrifying tale. Now, normally I'd go into my usual Blackwell spiel here, however, we're at the end of the video. If you've stuck around long enough, this is a sample of what our usual introductions to Dusklight transmissions are like. A link to one of our normal lengthy transmission videos is below. However, for the next 30 days, as of December 15th, you will not be getting those introductions unless it is a special Sturgeon video, such as the next chapter in our ongoing series coming out before the new year. You see, we want to test out the algorithm to see how well YouTube responds to a regular series of posts. So we decided between myself and the wonderful Vidith to do a 30 in 30 challenge. 30 days, 30 videos, no days off, except for Christmas, which will make up on the schedule. At the end of that time, we'll look at our metrics, see how well it's responded, if any new listeners have come to the station, and we can then make an informed decision about how we want to progress. I can tell you right now, however, that as of Season 6, in 2026 for Dusklight Radio, we will be going to 3 videos a week, an SCP video on Mondays, and normal, NoSleep or creepypasta story on Wednesdays, and on Fridays we'll be doing something special. Every single month we'll be doing a compilation of our best stories from the month, and you'll also get a special feature-length Sturgeon or feature-length creepypasta story with immersive sound design, SFX, and voice acting. Very few things are going to be changing except the quality of our production. With that, I bring you to our outros, which are very important because this is the time where we thank all of our patrons for making this possible. If you want to sign up, it's as little as $1 a month and you get exclusive content, early access videos and stories, updates, and more. You can even suggest videos and stories for me to cover on the channel. But times are tough and we will always be grateful for your support no matter what form it comes in. Financial, spiritual, corporeal, maniacal, whatever you want. Either way, it really helps us out. And consider joining the Discord. We have a wonderful community at the listening station and we'd love to have you there. Dusklight gives thanks to First, our purple crayon eaters, Echo Kane, Gail Allstott, Alex, Mike, Candyman Gloving, Ashabel, Amara, Fi, Max, and Feeny Von Kama. Our janitors, Allie, Shane Lewis, Dux, Joy Flint Healy, Sabine Eclipse, Death 31, Scott, Heather Cayley, Adrian R., Amy, Arkham Cookie, and Alex Nunez. Our nightmare detectives, Deliria, Melanie Schaefer, and Fox Clifford. Our void walkers, Josh Woods and Professor Creepypasta. And of course, our Blackwell family. Great Uncle Ven Blackwell, who really seems to be hanging around the furnishings lately. I could swear that I've seen him trying to reanimate something from in the wallpaper. He keeps stroking it softly and saying, "Hush, little one, soon you could be free." Ethan Blackwell, the master of repo and infuriating the outer gods alongside his BFF, Jimmy. Jackal Blackwell, the scourge of gas station sushi outlets. Clue Blackwell, the twisting, shambling horror. Tabitha Blackwell, wearing a muscle tee with Kyo's face as a skull she smashed, declaring herself the Spine Queen. And of course, Papa Kyo Blackwell, preparing his greatest weapon, the Spine Lord, and his many, many legions of bone fragments. We love and fear you, Papa, and we thank you humbly for your patronage and look to see you bright and early for Dusklight orientation. Purple crayons and existential dread will be provided. And one last time, listeners, close your eyes and breathe with me. Remember, no matter how bad things are, how cruel people can be, and how heavy your shoulders may feel with the weight of the world bearing down on them, Dusklight will always be here to lift the load and provide you with some respite. Drink some hot cocoa with chocolate sprinkles and fat marshmallows. Have some s'mores. Watch a video about liminal spaces, and sleep on the cool side of the pillow with the window open and the stars twinkling down on you. Start and end each day with kindness in your heart. You matter, you are loved, and every day is another chance. I'll see you again when the sun sets and dusk enters the station.